Caelan, your first time leading Ireland into a Six Nations. How much are you looking forward to it?
Massively. What a tournament this is. I think sitting downstairs on the couch beside the other captains, you're aware of the quality of each of the other five nations, the playing group, the coaches, the plans they have, the ambitions they have. So yeah, hugely excited to get stuck in. England at home first up definitely sharpens the mind and is something to look forward to and hard to look past. So yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into preparation and getting stuck into that game.
Is it becoming easier to be yourself in this captaincy role, or did you not find it hard at the start?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of the things we talk about quite a bit in our environment in general is being ourselves, being vulnerable, being open with each other. So there's that. But then when I was first kind of cast into the role, there would have been quite a lot of self-doubt and kind of feeling I needed to replicate what I'd seen John repeat do. And I think with time you kind of find your own way a little bit more and become a little bit more comfortable in doing things your own way a little bit. So yeah, I'm enjoying it much more these days, definitely, and I feel there's still a ton of growth within me as a leader, but yeah, enjoying it and enjoying working with the leadership group around me as well, because there's a ton of experienced guys in our group and a lot of IP there which I'll be leaning on for sure.
That's quite interesting. Even at the level you were playing at, you still had a bit of self-doubt as a captain.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you look back to February last year when we played Italy, which was my first week, and yeah, there was quite a bit of internal pressure and kind of how can I match what Johnny's done and what do I need to do, and kind of always kind of thinking ahead and trying to over-plan almost and overthink a little bit too much. But like with any new role, I think some of that is natural, and the more time I got with it, both in Ireland and in Leinster as well, you do become more familiar with the extra responsibilities, and you can take it in your stride a little bit more.
You have a new interim boss in Simon Easterby. How much are you looking forward to work with him, a fellow back row himself?
Yeah, big time. I mean, he's been a quality coach for us over the last 5 years. I've worked with him for initially as a forwards coach and then defensively over the last number of years, and he's got a ton of respect amongst the group, definitely, and he's got a lot of the kind of characteristics that you'd look for in a head coach as well. So yeah, there's a lot of faith in him to do a great job for us, and looking forward to working closely with him over the coming months.
3 out of 4 in the autumn, but every time I spoke to players, there always seemed a sense of frustration. I suppose the media just expects Ireland to win. What's it like as a captain? But is it fair to say you didn't feel you quite clicked?
Yeah, I think that's where the frustration probably comes from. There is a feeling that even though bar the first game against New Zealand we got decent results throughout, there's a feeling that we weren't quite playing towards our potential, probably particularly in attack. So coming back in yesterday, the first meeting was all about evolving and developing and getting back to some of our basics and trying to do those even better than we've done in the past, but also adding new layers of innovation as well and trying to bring something different and another layer of unpredictability. So it's always trying to improve what you're good at in terms of the execution, but also adding something new and extra as well. So yeah, there's excitement to get stuck into training and try and improve individually and collectively.
The Irish squad is heavily Leinster dominated by the facts and the figures. Jack Nailor has maybe changed your style. Is that going to be difficult, getting the defence and the attack similar to that of Ireland, or which way does that work, and do you think it'll work under Simon?
Probably more so defensively. It's a little bit less seamless than it would have been a few years back, but a lot of the kind of key components of defence are quite similar. There's quite a few common denominators there. The Leinster one is obviously a bit more aggressive for sure, but I think lads will get better at adjusting quite quickly, and we're going to need to in order to get things right against England. So again, that sharpens the mind and adds a little bit of pressure, but with pressure comes an ability to do it, I think.
I think you sort of touched on there, you weren't as good as you wanted to be against New Zealand and you felt the wrath and got beaten. So against England first up, you're going to have to be good to win that game.
Definitely, yeah. I think traditionally we've been quite good at preparing with a kind of 10-day lead in to a game. If you look back to France away last year, the first game of the Six Nations, we played pretty well and got things right over there. So there's definitely a knowing that we can do it and a belief that we can do it, and a want and desire to get back to our best.
How do you get this attack backfiring as you want it?
I think a big focus is on doing the simple things really well, going back to the basics, what's worked well for us over the last number of years.
As easy as it sounds, as you say the simple things well?
Yeah, well, it all comes from training. I think putting a little bit of extra focus on it in meetings and then making sure we're replicating it and holding each other to account in training, because ultimately it's how you train, it's how you show up, and it's what you do and the habits you build in training that lead to your performance. So there's a lot of focus there.
This Irish squad is pretty consistent. Do you think that's been a good thing?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's a very tight-knit group. I think there's a lot of continuity in terms of the squad, like you mentioned, the management as well. And there's very good relationships there and a good understanding of how we want to play. You've got some new guys coming in as well, which adds a little bit of excitement and exuberance too. But I think it's a very good group we have overall.
Every team you're going to say is good and can win the Six Nations. But is there any captain or player you're looking around being like, that team's going to be good? France, exactly.
Dupont being back in will obviously make a big difference for France. He's capable of setting any game on fire and creating something from nothing. Maro, his first Six Nations as captain as well, will have a lot of ambitions for them, and although some of their results haven't gone the way they would have liked, you can still see their quality. You can see the playing group they have, the depth they have, the coaches they have, the plan they have. We lost over in Twickenham last year to them, and you even rewind 6 months previous to that and they're in a World Cup semi-final. So yeah, their quality is very visible to us, and we're aware that they have many threats, and it's going to be a big first test.
Going for 3 Six Nations titles in a row, it's never been done. Will it be talked about as a squad?
I think it's something that we're aware of, definitely, but equally with the Six Nations, if you look too far ahead, you can bite yourself really. So I think England first up sharpens the mind, and it's hard to look beyond that.
Finally, is there any concern that Ireland can't get back to their best?
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of belief. There was excitement coming into camp yesterday. There's a belief in how we do things and in the coaches we have, in the playing group we have, and yeah, it's just about delivering now.
And lastly, is the only outcome winning another championship because it's been so good over the last couple of years? Is that only seen as a success?
Yeah, well, the focus is more on process and in developing as a team and in reaching our potential. We believe if we can play to our potential that we can beat anyone on the day, so hopefully good things will follow if we do that.
Super stuff, Ken. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.